we got another Marrybell, and just like the first one, the art is
fantastic.
I especially like how she's doing the classic saber pose.
As I was saying,
Marrybell is a rank 4 Annihilator pilot, and just for being on your team, all allies deal
an additional
45% damage to anti-Britannian Nightmare Frames, which right now refers to any Nightmare Frames part of the Black Knights, Peace Mark, and the Chinese Federation.
Don't worry.
there will be more of them, of course.
She also reduces the cost to deploying any member of the Glinda Knights by 5. Currently, there are only 2 other members in the game, the first Marrybell and Alderin, so this effect will become even better
in the future
once we get Tink, Sokika, Leonard, Toto, Marika, and future members Nadit, Orpheus, and Origeros. While deployed on the battlefield, every time Marrybell destroys a Nightmare Frame, she
increases
the action speed of herself and all Britannian forces by 1.17 times for 5.1 seconds. Marrybell's range and attack stats are
perfectly balanced, as all things should be,
and insanely high. She's top 7 in range and melee attack, and only one of 4 characters with both range and melee attack stats that are over a
1000%.
She also has a high interval stat, meaning her attacks are faster than most pilots. Her health's not bad either for an Annihilator. Her synergy with the first Marrybell is fantastic. They both boost each other's speed, and the second Marrybell reduces the cost to place the first one. She does have a high placement cost like the first Marrybell, but as I said before, this makes sense.
After all, she is a princess.
Just an amazing pilot all around. In the manga Oz of the Reflection, Marrybell piloted the Lancelot Trial, so of course we're getting that Nightmare Frame alongside her. This Nightmare Frame currently only has a ranged weapon, and the range of that weapon is
unique.
It only covers 2 squares ahead, but covers more ground to the left and right of you. The skill has an impressive range covering 9 spaces ahead and additional spots to the left and right of you. This is the first Nightmare Frame with this unique range, which is why there's so much hype around it. Despite the base range being unique
90%
of the time, I would rather just use a Nightmare Frame with a normal ranged weapon. The Nightmare Frame has above average attack and defense, which, just like the previous released Nightmare Frames, are similar to the Siegfried.
But that doesn't make any sense.
And while the skill range is great, the special itself is
average.
It deals 3.75 times your attack power to 3 enemies in range. I'm not a fan of this Nightmare Frame, but it does combo well with healers and works well with the original Marrybell, and of course this new one, since it has a ranged weapon. Its range gives it potential, but there are still better Nightmare Frames already in the game. I guess we'll have to wait for the better Nightmare Frame, the Alphaba, to fully utilize these new pilots.
Who knows when that's gonna happen?
Oh, and these new units are part of the Nightmare Frame boss event where they are giving away a Blue Baron's Gloucester to go along with the Blue Baron Sutherland. But is it as good as that Nightmare Frame? The Blue Baron Gloucester only has a melee weapon. It costs 4 to place and has a base damage of 250. The special deals 3.75 times your total attack power to 3 enemies in range, which
It's amazing.
since the skill of a Lance Nightmare Frame usually only attacks 2 or less Nightmare Frames. After using the skill, the Nightmare Frame will then increase damage dealt to Black Knight Nightmare Frames by 17.5% for 17.5 seconds. At least I think that's what it does, because the translations were
Not the best.
overall a solid free Nightmare Frame that's great for any assault pilot, but not better than Cornelius Broken Gloucester, but still
Solid.
And the secondary effect will come in handy
in certain situations.
Let me know in the comment section below if you're going to try to summon Marrybell, go after her new Lancelot, and your thoughts on this new Gloucester. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more awesome Lost Stories content.